don't worry about emailing me until um, that happens. Now, I didn't record this, or I didn't hit the record button on this. So I have just done that. So I believe this is now recording. I'm actually going to also record it in Camtasia because I just don't trust these things. Hello, all of you wonderful people who are coming in. Thank you for coming in. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Camtasia and let that be recording as well. I know I'm wasting my own time because I promise I want to get you guys out of here within 30 minutes. All right, so this meeting is now being recorded both through Zoom and Camtasia. So the first thing I talked about was the gradebook update, and how this works is once I am finished, completely finished with grading all assignments and all questions, even in quizzes, I will post an announcement on the home page that says the gradebook has been updated. Please go check your grade and let me know if you have any questions. I got several emails from people yesterday because your short answer question had not been graded yet. I will go back and I will grade those, I promise. I'm not going to overlook that. And it's important that you know that I really do read all of this because there were some students who didn't come to the live session and obviously didn't listen to the recording because the things they said that they learned in the recording was nothing that I went over. So I am actually reading all of your stuff. So just keep that in mind, okay? Does anybody have any questions about the gradebook? Like I said, as soon as I get something, get it graded and updated, I always post a message in the on the home page that says it's updated. Now go check your grades. And after I do that, if you have questions, please feel free to contact me and say, hey, this doesn't look right, because I do make mistakes. I try not to, but I do. Okay. I also wanted to just go over real quick this service learning project. I will be posting this week the service learning module that will give you more information about exactly what you need to do with the service learning project. This is something that will occur after midterm. That's the reason why I'm not really talking a lot about it right now, but in the coming weeks, the next couple of weeks, I will hold a live session only dedicated to the service learning project. So I kind of wanted to throw it out there to you, and so you could kind of read a little bit about it. So when I have my full session, you can come here with your questions. And since I'm talking about that, please, if you have a question and you cannot come to the live session, and I'm also talking to you folks who are listening to the recording, if you have a question for me about content or about something with the course, and you want me to answer it during the live session, I'm more than happy to do that. Now, if it's a question about your grade, I'm not going to do that during the live session, obviously, okay? So please take a look at the service learning project module once I have it posted, and start putting together your questions about what you're supposed to do and when you're supposed to do it, and the different assignments that are going to be connected with that. Essentially, what you're going to do is perform 5 hours of community service under the realm of one of these 3 groups. The first thing you're going to do is I'm going to divide the class into 3 groups. You're going to choose which group you go into based on your interest. And so I'll have this document in the module. So you can start kind of thinking about, some students have already emailed me and said, I know which group I'm going into because this, is of interest of me. Think about which group, which one of these 3 groups appeals to you. And yes, you're going to be divided into 3 groups, but everybody's going to do their own work. Okay. The only thing you may do as a group is maybe answer a discussion question. I put you into groups because I want you to be with a group of like-minded people. Like if you are somebody who is interested in working with other cultures, then I want you to be around the students who are also interested in working with other cultures. I don't want you to talk to the civic responsibility people, okay? But you will be responsible for your own work. What you do is not dependent on somebody else, because believe me, I've been in groups and I know what that's like, okay? So for the service learning project, just know that there is more to come on that. What else do we have? Okay, so probably, oh, I'm doing just fine on time. Does anybody have any questions about what I have talked about so far? I can actually increase this a little bit if you're having trouble seeing it. I will absolutely post this in our module when I get that going this week. I thought everybody did a really good job on the first week assignments, the intro discussion, and the getting to know you, your favorite time period in history. You didn't have to like the time period of history we're going to cover in this class. You were free to choose any time period. And so you guys did a really good job on those. And then the quizzes as well. So I hold this live session every week, and it's just your opportunity to come and interact with me in real time. But since I really want you to, if not attend the live session, look at the recording, then I try to cover some kind of content that we're going to be covering in class. That's a really great question, Cody. I can go ahead and set the groups up. I would like to, when I open up the module this week, I can go ahead and set up the groups as well. If you've never worked with groups in CougarView, it's really easy to do. I'll have instructions on how you enter into a group because you self-enroll in that. But it's very, very simple. And I will never ask you to do something and then not give you ample time to get it done, okay? I'll never ask you to do something and say, oh, by the way, you got to do it by, within 24 hours or something like that, okay? So I will open up the groups and create the groups and open those up this week. So the groups are going to be, like I said, 3 groups: culture clubs, civic responsibility, and reformers. And the reason I chose these groups, and the whole idea behind this project, is for you to go out, perform some sort of community service under the guise or in the realm of what you're learning about history. And so these 3 groups are tied to a course theme and a course objective that we will cover in as we learn U.S. history. So like, for example, Culture Club, this is the first course objective. We actually did this last week. Creating a Nation, this is talking about the Constitution. And then the Reformers, after our country becomes the United States and we kind of get sort of established with our cities and our transportation and our social interactions, we have a group of people and they call themselves the Reformers because they look at society and they say to themselves, oh, there are things that can change, right? There are things that need to be improved upon. And we still have those people today. They look at the homeless and say, oh, well, that's my responsibility. I want to help these people. So that's kind of the short version of that. But like I said, in a future live session, I'm going to go into a whole lot more detail about exactly what's expected of you for this project. All right, tonight what I want to talk about is primary sources. I see somebody's asked me a question. Let me see what that is real quick. So if you want to understand, is that during the summit we have to take notes? of what we're doing. Yes, yes, you're absolutely right, Tucker. Oh, you figured it out. Yes, in the Service Learning Project, there'll be some documents that you need to fill out to document what you're doing, and then there'll be a reflection document, and there'll be a component where I want you to go a little further in your documentation. So yes, you absolutely figured it out. But switching gears, since we've got about 15 more minutes, I want to ask you, what is a primary source? And you can just type this in the chat box. Who can tell me what a primary source is? Because you're often asked to write things, and, or if you haven't been yet, if this is your first year in college, you maybe haven't been asked to cite sources or write something where you have primary sources and secondary sources. So who can tell me, and like I said, you can just type in the chat box, what do you think a primary source is? We got one. Yeah, Anna Rose, that's a really good way to say it. Information that came straight from the event, a direct source. Very good. The original, Maddie, welcome. And yes, original documents. Yes, you're absolutely right. That is a primary source. So if I have a newspaper article from the 1940s talking about, yes, Vishwa, you're absolutely right. If I have a newspaper article from the 1940s talking about World War II, then that would be a primary source, right? Because that was maybe a newspaper article that was recording the events of the day. That makes sense, okay? If I read a newspaper article today that's talking about what happened in World War II, then that's not a primary source. In fact, that's what we call a secondary source, okay? So yes, original documents, direct source, came straight from the event. That's absolutely right. So that's what us historians do. We look at primary sources so we can make an opinion or interpretation based on those documents of what history, what happened in past events. One of the ways in our really in our time period here that we're studying in U.S. history, one of the ways that they documented history was through paintings and drawings, because the camera was not invented, photographs were not invented as we kind of know them today until about the time of the Civil War. That's why you see actual photographs of the Civil War, right? But you really don't see anything prior to that. You see some things on some tin, what they call tintypes. But prior to that, what we had to rely on was an artist's drawing of a battle scene or a group of people and how they maybe looked or what they were maybe doing. So those are primary sources, but also they document the events of history. So our primary sources are firsthand evidence or testimony. Like somebody said, often created concurrently with the events being described. And here's what it can include. Memoirs, if you get a diary reading, autobiographies, oral histories. You know, there's a huge movement right now to talk to Vietnam War veterans, World War II veterans, although a lot of those are sadly no longer with us. But there's a huge push to get these oral histories, get these stories of people who lived through history, people from the modern civil rights movement in the mid-60s. So we want to sit these people down and we want to hear their stories. And why? Because it is a primary source. We can learn a lot from this. It's not so much always formatted, these primary sources. Where am I doing on time? Good. So what is not a primary source? Well, a textbook's not a primary source. It may have some images of primary sources in it, but a textbook in itself is not a primary source. As I mentioned before, the research articles or an article that I read today on an event that happened in the past, that would be considered a secondary source. Okay. And side note, real quick, I hope everybody was able to find the textbook, the online textbook. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please reach out to me and let me explain to you how we are getting our textbook and whatnot, okay? Hopefully you found that, and you're finding it to be actually kind of an easy read. When I say easy, I don't mean like it's lacking on content, but I think it reads easy. I got 2 people. Okay, isn't it on the assignment document? It's in Cougar View, if that's what you mean, Tucker. Yes, I link it in Cougar View. All right, so how do we treat primary sources? How do we treat them as far as, okay, you've got a primary source, now what do you do with it, right? Well, as historians, what we do is we observe the document, and there's some criteria for doing that. We look at who created it, what it represents, why it was created. These are the kind of guiding questions that we use. And we're also aware of how the document makes us feel or how it makes other people feel, what kind of connection it makes to other types of documents. We look at the document as a whole to look at what kind of conflicting points of view it may have, what kind of bias it might have. We take into consideration the point of view of the author of the document to make an interpretation of what this document is and how it fits into a time period in history. And then as we're observing this, we're asking these questions that I just kind of mentioned. You know, what am I noticing about this? What do you think is happening in the image? You know, what is the atmosphere? You know, why is this person biased against something? Let's see, who said something? Yes, it is. Yes, the book is in the main page in Cougar View. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and show you. Okay, so this is our course homepage, and if I come here to content, let me get in here as a student, because when I don't, it looks different to you, and I want you to see it as you would see it. Cougar View is being a little bit slow, but yes, the textbook is in a couple of places, actually. I try to link it every time I'm in, if I set up an assignment or whatnot, I try to link the book. But here's the syllabus right here. If you haven't looked at the syllabus, please do. Here's our OpenStax textbook, okay? It's right there under required documentation and textbooks. And also, if you notice, our, right here. All right, so our current module that we're looking at here is we're starting with colonial life. And I've linked the 2 chapters that we're reading right here, okay? Also, what I have done, let me go ahead and mention this. What's due this week, we have 2 Dropbox assignments. These are little worksheets based on these chapter readings right here. And we have a discussion question. It's primary source. Hopefully my link works. If links don't work, see, y'all need to be telling me this. Hold on. You know, it might be because I'm in as a student, but all right. So y'all need to tell me when something doesn't work. I'll get that fixed so you can see it. So what we're going to do this week is, somebody's telling me something. Oh, well, actually, that's a really good question. I didn't think I had done that, did I? Oh, you know what? You know what you have to do? That's what it is. I did put a release condition. You have to go to the live link page, which most of you probably did, and this opens up this page. But here we are with our Boston newspaper, and it looks just like an old raggedy newspaper, doesn't it? Yeah, well, it's from 1704, so there you go, right? Okay. So here's what you're going to do. You are going to analyze this primary source document. I'll show you in just a second, Tucker. And I really, guys, I want you to do exactly what I've got written here. I'm not asking you, do not read, you have to read every word. Okay? Don't do that. I know, I would never expect you to read this. It's too small and whatnot, okay? Somebody's got their microphone on, and I can't get to a place where I can mute you. So stop for a second and see if your microphone is muted. Please do.
The show.
Please do. Please, y'all, mute your microphones. Somebody's not. Mariah, sweetie, please mute your microphone. Cody wasn't muted either. Thank you, Mariah, sorry. Okay, back to the Boston newspaper, because this is what the people who are listening to the recording really want to know, because they're trying to fast forward, trying to figure out where the questions are. I do not expect you to read every word of this, but I would like for you to glance over it, okay? I've got some notations here. Keep in mind that the S's, okay, as in old text is read as an F. That's why it looks like Boston. It's not Boston, it's Boston, okay? And I'm about to reveal 2 questions that I want you to answer based on this Boston document, okay? All right, so we're just observing, we're asking questions about this, and here are the questions. You can answer one of these 2. You do not have to answer both. Talk about what stories did the Boston newsletter publish in its first issue? What does it suggest about the purpose of a newspaper in colonial America? What other larger conclusions can you draw about the colonies, okay? The types of stories published, all right? Consider the purpose of newspapers in modern America. How does this newspaper appear to be both similar to and different from modern newspapers? And let's face it, folks, nowadays we don't have newspapers, right? We have, most of it's on the internet. What does it suggest about how America has changed over the last 300 years? No worries, Mariah. It's Mariah, right? Yeah, it's Mariah. So that's okay, Mariah. All right. So here are the questions. How am I doing on time? Good. All right. So you should be able to answer one of these. Now I'm going to go back to what Tucker was asking me, because he said, because here's the thing, unless you, and maybe our recording people, unless they listen to the entire recording, they're not going to know this. Okay, so what you're going to have to do in order to see that Boston newspaper in the discussion, you have to come here, right? You have to go to content, and then click on Colonial Life. I'm going to go back in as a student. I'm going to go back in as a student and do it. So here I am as a student. I go to Content. The review is just slow. And if I come here, and I just click on Boston newspaper, I'm going to get that ugly message, right? Ugh. Okay, so what do I have to do? I come back over here to Colonial Life, and I have to come to this page, and I have to click on this, which is probably where all of you went to get your link, right? Then I can come back here to Colonial Life, and if Cougar View doesn't make a liar of me, come on, please, thank you. Then I can come back here to Colonial Life. So slow. And then click on this, wait for it, and it still says available. Okay, well, I'll make sure that it opens for you guys. Did anybody else get it to open? You know, maybe because I'm a student, though. I'm looking at this as a student, so maybe that's the major malfunction there. But I'll make sure that it is open for you guys. That's what's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to click here. Let's see. Maybe somebody. Okay, see, Jasmine got it to open. Yes, it is a very specific way, Tucker, because, you know, really I want you guys to come to these sessions if you can. If you can't, I want you to listen to them. So it can be a nice little surprise. Maybe I need to refresh. Maybe that's what it is. But I'm thinking that it's not opening for me because, let's see who else. Oh, Sarah couldn't get it to open. Darn it. Well, after this session, I'll make sure that I open the discussion for you guys. Okay, so it's no fun. It's not fun. It is. Cougar View. Okay. So yes. So that's what you have to do. And another thing that I will do is I will move this. In fact, I can do it right now while I'm talking. I will move the discussion up to the front so we don't have to scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Okay, so as soon as you access it, or if you go to communications, you can just put it here. Okay, are there any questions? I got 2 questions right here. Hold on, let me see. No, I have no questions, right? Don't have any assessments listed. Okay. I cannot view any assessments. Ooh. All right. I wonder if you guys are in the other class. I hope I put them in there. I hope I put them in there. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, okay. I'll put that in there too. I am. Okay. 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 All right. I'll put your assignments in there. But you could also go to here and I have sometimes, yeah, see, they're listed right here. These are not bad. I mean, I don't think they're bad. I know the material, but I honestly don't think these assignments are too bad. There are a few questions. Oh, these are I'm sorry, they're not questions. These are there's going to be a lot of reading. These are the letters. So there are 2 letters. You read one, and all I'm asking for here is a half page single spaced. Okay. So you read this letter. One's from the indentured servant and the other is from the owner. So those are your 2 little, okay. Yes. And I'll show you these questions one more time. These are the questions you need to answer. Okay. You know, I have 2 of these classes, and I get one set up really nice, and then I think I've done the same thing with the other one, and sometimes I don't. So sorry about that. All right. I'm 2 minutes over. Gosh, sorry about that, guys. But I'm done. So if you cannot stay, it's perfectly fine. Thank you for coming. Thought so, huh, Tucker, the Native American speech? All right. But please, I will be here for the next 30 minutes. So, if you have questions, oh, wow. See, some people have already submitted this. People are on top. But if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. Which one is this? Okay, so what did it not have? Oh, I know what it didn't have. Well, and I tell you why I didn't do that. I'm going to put the links in. Oh, somebody asked me a question. According to the schedule, there are no textbook readings from the 2nd to the 9th. Is that correct? Look. Oh, what did I do? Skip a whole week? Is that what I did? Let me get my trusty calendar out. Aha, I see. Well, I'm hoping if we talk about the service learning project next week, then I maybe can put that in there. But if I'm not able to talk about it, then we'll have to do the fight, the colonists fight for their rights. This is no good. Hi, Melissa. Let me get back to you on that, Maddie. Hi, Melissa. Avi, oh. Jasmine, I hope to get us some good information. I'm waiting on one thing for the service learning project. So I hope to be talking about it soon, very soon. Could go ahead and email you about what volunteer service you'd like to do. Are we guaranteed? Oh, or are you trying to make receive only divided? Not necessarily, Taylor. I mean, I want you to get into the group you want to get into. I don't want you to not get into the group because, it's full or something like that. Cody, I'm going to put that discussion up closer to the top. Yes, Jasmine, you can. I'm sure you'll find a hospital. I can't believe I skipped a whole week. Yes, Cody, did you find the discussion? He said never mind, so I'm thinking that maybe he did. I need to do some fixing on number 2. And remember, when you're writing things to me for assignments, I'm looking for quality of work, not quantity. You know what I mean? I don't want you to write, a page or two on something and have it be something that's not readable. I would rather you write a short paragraph on something and it be a quality paragraph. Thank you for coming, Tucker. Yes, I can. Let me show you the questions one more time. Give me 1 second, okay? Let me just do this real quick. Keely, you want to know if there is a word count for the questions. You know how I feel about word counts. Maybe you don't know. If you weren't here and you didn't hear the recording, I would rather you give me just a quality paragraph. None of these, Keely, are yes or no answers, right? I mean, it really encourages you to draw on your analytical skills. So that's okay, Keely. Did you hear what I said about the word count? Okay. See, now this is supposed to work. No quiz, Cody, no quiz. No, no, no. No bueno. No quiz, just the 2 Dropbox items, and I've got your page fixed now. Just the 2 Dropbox items and the discussion. That's it. I need to adjust the schedule. Bye, Keely. You're welcome, Cody. Oh, I can't believe I missed an entire week. I'm gonna have to fix this. This is going to be. This will be the second. Actually, the third, right? We're the 8th. And this will be the 9th. We're the what? 16th. This will be the 16th. 16th through the 22nd. That makes sense, though. I'm good. And, 9th. What? Hey, Maddie, you're back. 7th. Actually, this is okay. I see. Oh, no, that's October. University of 27th. Excuse me. Sorry about that. 21st through the 27th. Right. And then, November 1st, 4th, 3rd. And then November 4th through the 10th. Through the 10th. Is there any way to know what information to study? Last week it was just a lot of information. Well, what I could do is give you some self-assessments, and what those are is like quiz questions. It's like the same quiz questions, but it's just practice questions. Maybe that would help. You think that would help? Next time I give a quiz, I can do that. Chapter 15 is 4th through the 10th. And then, okay, I can do that. So then it is the 17th. How did I get so far off? I think it's, wait a minute. Actually, let me go here. Oh, you're no fun. Well, this is objective. Okay. I can't believe I did that. No charts off. Alyssa, do you know how to get started in the class? You know where to find things? If you don't, let me know. Oh, I bet that's not midterm now. October 29th. That's not October 29th. What is it? Oh, dates. September 23rd. October 30th. No, it is the 29th. Is that right? Yes, that's right. And then September 30th. Let me know if you need help. Through the 15th, 16th through the 22nd, 23rd through the 20th. That's not October 29th, that's September 29th. That's what was throwing me off. Oh gosh. Right, okay, now we're all right with the world. 6th, October 7th through 13th, 14 through 20, 21 through 27, 28 through November 4th, November 3rd, 4th through the 10th, and then we're just going to have to fill up. This is one crazy semester, I'll tell you. Okay. Maddie, were you the one that alerted me to the wrong dates in the schedule? If so, I fixed it, I think. Fixed it. Oh, look, I have a little annotate button here. How do I do that? Let's see. What do I do? What do I do? Spotlight? Oh, yeah, I'll check it. Oh, no, that's bad. Oh, it's like a little laser pointer. Okay. Oh, I can draw. What do I want to draw? Big. That'd be red. So I can say, see, Maddie? I changed it. I changed this especially. Now erase that. Oh, nice. Oh, it's on. Now that I know I have some annotation tools, we're going to look at it. We're going to do some maps now, I think. That'd be cool. Mouse. All right. 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks on the service learning project. 3 weeks on the service learning project, and I give you a week off of assignments. I think that's pretty good, actually. All right. Update that. Your schedule right there. Oh, that's wrong too. We did that. What are you saying, Maddie? You want an extension because of Labor Day? Is that what I'm hearing, Maddie? You want an extension because of Labor Day? What would that be? What would that be? What I'm going to do, Maddie, and I'll post an announcement, I'll agree to this. I'm not going to change the date, but if you turn it in, let's think about this now. If you turn it in by 11:59 on the 3rd, I won't count it late. I mean, I'll accept it because I don't take late work and don't count anything late. But if you turn it in, does that make sense? Poor Maddie. She keeps having internet problems, I think. Maddie, you keep having internet problems, I think. Did you hear what I said? And we're past our 8 o'clock, so. Did you hear what I said, Maddie? Okay, what I said was, I know, I'm sorry. What I said was I will continue, the due date will still be Sunday. Will still be Sunday, but I will accept assignments through 11:59 p.m. on September 3rd. I can't say I won't count it late because I don't take late work. So I'll say that I'm not changing the date. I guess I kind of am changing the date, but you can turn it in by 11:59 on September 3rd, and I will accept it. Does that make sense? Oh, let me. And I'll post an announcement to that in the homepage. I am going to stop the Camtasia recording. What's today? Oh gosh, 28th, right? All right. All right, folks, I'm ending. I'm leaving. Unless you guys have some more questions, our time has come to an end. I've given you 4 more minutes than I said I would. So, have a good night, Maddie. Yeah, send me an email, Melissa, if you are having troubles. Have a good night, everybody. Sayonara. I'm going to end. I'm going to stop sharing. And now I'm ending the meeting. Oh, one more chat. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Good night. Ending the meeting.